Saturday night was the opening night game. We knew the team needed him to play, and the team knew that as well. Since we were not in agreement, the lawyers for the team asked us to fly to the city involved and enter into face-to-face negotiations. Eventually, they said they would get the proper language inserted and that we would meet at the arena at 6 p.m. in the owner's box. We met them with Dr. Tucker and finished reading the contract at 6:30 p.m. The contract was okay. The player was practicing with the team in warm-ups down on the court. Howard shouted down to him to come up to the owner's box. He walked up the steps from the arena floor to the owner's box, and Dr. Tucker and Howard explained to him the terms of the contract. He signed, but the owner hadn't signed yet. He was out campaigning for a statewide political office. He arrived at 7 p.m. and was very annoyed and upset. By the way, it just so happens he had been a fraternity brother of mine in college, and he was really annoyed when he saw that I was involved with the negotiations. Nevertheless, he took the contract, went into the office behind the box office at the stadium, and did sign the contract as the game started. After it was signed, the player was escorted back down to the bench. The player was finally announced to the crowd. He entered the game 10 minutes after the game started, and the crowd went wild. I tell that story as an example of the role of a lawyer in sports law. At all times, the lawyer is to represent the best interests of the player and work with the agent on the agreement. The lawyer is to know the collective bargaining process and is to understand how to integrate it into negotiations. It is important to know what is not covered by the collective bargaining agreement and what can be inserted in the best interest of the player. The owners are giants of the free enterprise system. They understand the rules of free enterprise. You will not lose their respect if you follow the best principles of advocacy and negotiation. In this particular case, the owner had great respect for the player and gave him an excellent renewal contract in later years, thanks to Dr. Tucker's negotiation.